Dan Crenshaw, when he became a member of Congress and he was elected late 2018, started in 2019, one of his fellow brother in arms, and this is a very big story, retired U.S. Navy SEAL Chief Eddie Gallagher found himself in a bit of trouble as he was wrongfully accused of so many horrible things and actions that just didn't happen. It drew national attention, not only from just the news media, but all the way up to the sitting president of the United States, Donald Trump, at the time. In his weakest and most vulnerable time in need, he is sitting in the brig while his brother is walking those very halls of Congress that I was walking during that same time. They went to Congressman Dan Crenshaw and he was ignored, as I was too when I was trying to pass veteran legislation. I too was ignored. They had gotten a letter that 50 congressional members had signed on that were asking for his immediate release so he could prepare for trial and literally be given that constitutional right to prepare. Let's not forget about the 8 exemplary and honorable overseas combat deployments as a U.S. Navy SEAL. This guy's seen things that you just can't unsee. And he did the job of the American people.
I couldn't even imagine.
This guy is the epitome of a U.S. Navy SEAL. And I personally know his character and who he is. He's been on this show. And Eddie Gallagher's a great man. But Congressman Dan Crenshaw didn't sign on to that letter. Additionally, he took action to try to keep him locked up for even longer. In that action he took, he didn't want any visitors. The only people that can come see you are your own attorneys. What type of leader, what type of congressman, what type of retired U.S. Navy SEAL would leave your fellow brother in arms out to hang, literally do an about face, and leave Eddie and his family holding the bag with his life dwindling away again as he's sitting in the brig, not knowing if he will ever see sunshine again? That right there says so much about Congressman Dan Crenshaw and his motivations to this country.
Eddie Gallagher had 7 charges brought against him. He was acquitted of 6. The one that stuck, he had already served time for. There has been a lot of lies, a lot of gaslighting. How do you uphold the Constitution whenever you actively work to strip not just Eddie Gallagher, but Americans in general of due process?
He publicly displayed ruthless intention on a very highly decorated 8 combat tour retired U.S. Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher. If Congressman Dan Crenshaw can show that type of motivation and that type of ruthlessness against a man like Eddie Gallagher, what is he doing to a Joe or a Diane or a Billy and Bob in his own district?